All right. Let's just see here. Good morning, my friend. How are you? Okay. Cool. Wait for a second. Nathan, see everybody get over here. Should be pretty quick. Giving us a couple extra minutes today just so I can get through some extra questions. Morning, Mark. How are you? George? Good morning. Good morning. Oh, look at everybody. All right. Good morning. Good morning. Okay. I just had a question over here on the other side. I'm going to bring a couple of these over, but over on the chat for the video. Philip de Gior. It's not quite the soup of the day. Okay, so he had a question about how does good soil deter weeds. So that's kind of a two-parter I wanted to get into just a little bit. So last year I ran through a whole thing about talking about soil deficiencies and what weeds would show up in those particular instances and what particular weeds would show you for your soil like as a deficiency so you could make corrections. So, if you had fantastically nutrient balanced soil and it was just sitting there and nothing was growing in it, you're going to get weeds in it. So it's not necessarily directly related to just the soil being a perfect balance, which there really isn't such a thing. You're going to get weeds whenever you're don't have anything else growing in it. So the whole idea is the more healthy your soil is, the more you're going to encourage your single cultivar or your grass type or whatever. Your grass will get thicker, it'll get tighter, and you won't have the weeds that you had. So it's kind of a better way to do that. But keeping everything in balance, keeping it in check, and making sure your nutrient loads are correct for your soil types are of vital importance. So hopefully that answered your question. I got another one from David Walker on here about dethatch. I think he said it's going to rain. As long as it's staying warm, you can go ahead and do that. That was just off to the side on the chat here as well. So yeah, you can go ahead and get that out. That's not that big of a deal. I'm trying to catch some of the questions that were over here on the live feed, and then I'll drive over here and get some of this as well. Pulled out some. Oh, there's still a lot. Okay, some people are asking me questions on the live chat on this side, and some are on this. So let me go back up. I'll just pay attention to the people that are sitting here watching this right now. That's hair on my head, Michael. I don't know what's going on with that. Just planted some emerald green arborvitaes, some blood good crimson Japanese maples. Am I good to hit it with foraging? You are. Keep it low. Do about 1 ounce per gallon per tree. That's all you really need to do that to get it established. You can do that once a week. Yeah, that's right. There is a space launch today. I got to see one time when I was driving down the Space Coast. I don't know if it was the second time or third time that they had the rockets come back and land. That was so cool. Like when they reversed, that was pretty amazing. Okay. Matt Condit. I know the bios are foolproof. Any diminishing returns to applying the following in one shot. RGS Micro Aerate. Personally, I would look out with the micro and the aerate in the same tank. Those two are completely opposite ends of the pH spectrum. And don't mix those as a concentrate. It kind of foams up, and you'll see kind of the humic and carbon portion sort of fall out. So you're better to do those separately. It's okay to do them all on one day. It's different things that you're putting out, so it doesn't really matter all that much. You're just going to get more down into the soil. So, Ron, we had an issue with that. I was forwarding every email over to my communications director, and she didn't have any of those come through until about a week and a half ago, but she shipped like 6 out. So let me double check on those and just make sure, because that was a problem. All of those forwarded emails went to her spam, and that was clearly my fault. All of my micros are low. Next 2 months I'll be using microgreen. Should I apply it monthly instead? Nick, you can do that really once a week at super low rates. You can do that once every 2 weeks at low rates. You should just sort of feed into that issue over the course of the season, so you can break it up as much as you need to. That's not really a big deal. Should you skip mowing the lawn if you're having a heat wave, high 90s lasting several days? Usually, especially cool season grass, it's really going to slow down, and you're not necessarily going to have to mow. If you have good irrigation, that's going to be the best thing for you. The bluegrass is going to slow down to a crawl as soon as it gets that hot around here, so I don't really worry about that too much. You can hold down. A lot of people can end up mowing every 2 weeks around here once the summer hits. At what temp should we spray dethatch? Anything above 75 degree consistent air temperature I think is great. Now, let me clarify this. You can put it out anytime. The components in there will work under any variety of temperatures, but you're going to get the greatest activity with the soil microbes at a higher temperature, because there is better chance for them to multiply and do more work to what you're trying to digest. So, let me see here. Wow, there's a lot. Okay, I got my hat last week. Good. Rich got his. That's good. pH of 5. Should I spend the money on liquid lime? Don't. No, don't do that. Get some agricultural lime, fine grind. Make sure that you're getting the correct thing in accordance with your soil test. If you need calcitic or dolomitic, most people are going to do dolomitic lime. That's pretty much what's widely available, and put it out at a lot rate. You're going to need a lot, probably 100 pounds per 1,000 or something. Might be even more than that. Weird thin spots on my front. Is that your hair, Mike? Is that what you're talking about? Drinking coffee. I'm drinking bourbon. Oh, Travis, lucky. How do you know I'm not drinking bourbon? Just got my biostimulant pack and laid down some RGS and Humic 12. Looking forward to a better lawn. I did mix them both together and applied them. That's fine. Those two mixed together with no trouble. Tall type Trefescu, Southeast Virginia. William, high to cut, 3.5. Cannot seem to get a clean cut no matter what I do. Sharpened blades, upgated to an angle grinder. Trying to mulch blades and straight blades. Still ripping. That's interesting. Very interesting. I'm not exactly sure what to tell you on that. It's almost as if the RPMs aren't up enough. That's very interesting. Good morning, Edge Master. Need to get you a shirt that says that. Any advice on moving from a DIY to a professional program? I'm getting hit up. My friends and neighbors start working on their lawns. So Philip, you check with your Department of Agriculture about licensing. There's more to it than just going out there and squirting. It's terrible. Some businesses you can get into that way. This takes a little bit more. You need to make sure that you're licensed properly, and go through all the steps. And it's just like running any business. It's fraught with issues. When you're getting started, learning how to talk and market correctly, and there's a lot of stuff, but it's a great business to be in. I think that, in my time when I was out spraying and starting my business to begin with, it was some of the most stressful yet oddly peaceful times of my life. I will say that. It was pretty fun. Okay. Mist fogging with a backpack blower using Proflex to control mosquitoes. Do I use 1 ounce per 2.5 tank? Are you asking about the Proflex rate? I actually don't know that. What, that should be on a label. I'm not sure you're asking me about putting out like Flora Green or something. You can actually do that through a mister. That works really, really well. We had a company in North Carolina that did that nonstop. That was his preferred method of applying 402 to shrubs. He put it through his backpack mister. How often you can put down 700 and 002 and still have it be effective? Honestly, I wouldn't do those a ton. On some of the cool season lawn programs that we've run professionally, I do have 700 and 002 go out about every 5 weeks, up to 6 weeks, like kind of in that range. So maybe 3 times throughout the year, and that's about it. And you do get a very deep, dark color. So that is something you can do. Backing up here, a lot of good stuff coming through here. Just stickers, aerate. Wow, there's a ton. I'm sorry, guys. I'm scrolling way back up. How often you put down some? Okay, got that one. Aerate, good for Nate. That's fine. Dan, you can put that out on new sod. Travis, awesome. Thank you. Okay. When are you mossy? Plan to remove mulch. Okay, plan to remove mulch from shrub and a layer of compost and new mulch. Should I use some biopack? You can water that in on top of your shrubs or flowers or whatever. You can do it before or after. Do it regularly. There's nothing really that'll hold you up there. Common day flower in St. Augustine, Tampa, Florida. Not wet. Haven't had a lot of rain. Currently relying on Mother Nature and water. What can this tell me about the soil? I can pull that up. I would have some notes on that. I would take a look at it and see what I can tell you on that. What's more important, getting your pH or your base saturation right? pH is going to govern most of your issues. It is regulating what your plants can absorb, what your soil is really going to give to you. So pH first, but typically you can be adjusting your base saturations for your CECs during that time. So that's something that you can be doing. Just be looking at it before you're adding a whole lot of stuff in. Okay, scrolling back up. Wow. What is the main difference between products used on top golf course and private dwelling? Cost is the main thing. There's always some talk about that products that are made for the DIY market are like watered down or whatever. That does tend to hold true for RTU materials, for weed controls and insecticides and things like that, just because there's a safety concern. It makes it a little bit easier to use. But for the rest of it, fertilizers have a particular mix. That's just what they are. I mean, there's not really much to say that there's a difference between one or the other. So that's usually the only time that ever really applies is with any type of pesticide or insecticide or fungicide, something like that. Okay, scrolling back up here. A lot of people talking about that mower issue. Can the crust layer that forms from standing water create havoc on a lawn? Having trouble keeping the grass in some low spots? Yeah, absolutely. If you have water standing, that can cause all kinds of problems to microbial life. Anytime you're basically blocking off oxygen to your soil, has the same effect as if you didn't get it for an extended period of time. So, yeah, that's absolutely a problem. Poke some holes in that for sure, and see if you can encourage some grass to grow in there. That would be one of the best things you could possibly do. Best way to eliminate St. Aug in my Kentucky bluegrass? Is that even possible? Are you sure you're identifying that right? Unless that's a joke and you're talking about crabgrass. I don't know if that's real. What's your opinion on pelletized humic acid versus liquid form? I've done some videos on that. I think that's a good thing to bring up as well. You're going to get two very different functions between liquid humic and granular humic. Granular humic is non-reacted. It doesn't have the acids as sort of a free-moving, flowing material. And that's really what's required if you're going for the actual acids themselves. For instance, most of the Leonardite shale that's pulled out and used to process in liquids has somewhere between a 68 and a 75% humic acid content, but that doesn't mean that it's going to be available. You have to react that to get the acids to break free from the source material. So you will get the benefit of added carbon, and you may get some minor elements out of it, but you aren't going to get the actual acids that would be similar to when the decomposition of humus in your soil breaks free and gives you greater, plant uptake. And again, yeah, I didn't really mean that St. Augustine is, is crabgrass. I'm just saying I don't know that I've ever seen Kentucky blue and St. Augustine exist in the same spot. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Okay, I think I need to cruise over to the other side. I didn't get to a lot of these. I even gave myself extra time. So, video starting right now. You can jump over there. We can continue chats on this side, and we will go from there. Thank you guys for joining the live feed. I will see you on the live chat on the video starting in 28 seconds.